Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to United Airlines Flight UA 2276 in service to Los Angeles.
Hey, Jess. How are you?
Take exit 46, feet to merge onto I-20
I'm going to
toward
call
Augusta.
Scotty and find out where it's at. I just want to make sure I have a truck to work this week.
How you doing? Let me start shooting already.
Yes.
What's good, sweetheart?
We're waiting for the motor. He's rebuilding the motor on it,
Yeah.
but every one of these trucks is waiting for a motor rebuild. Okay. So we just have to wait our turn. Came down and we rebuilt her. We actually needed, we didn't realize when we did it that the engine block itself was warped. So 6 months after the rebuild, the motor went out again. It was heartbreaking.
It's actually shedding.
She has red lights on it. The spider on the skull.
Oh, you don't even need Halloween decorations.
And he knows that my truck is long because I've been in here twice for that tire. So now we're gonna bid some freight on another.
What is that?
We're gonna bid some freight. We're gonna search for a load.
Oh, it's an app that you can just get. It's almost like Uber, a Lyft just for trucks, right?
Yeah.
Ah, wow. So when you bid, you kind of they will pick whoever bids the lowest.
Yes.
North Carolina. This is another one to Tennessee, right?
This is to Tennessee.
How much? 1,000.
Yeah, they're saying they don't want to pay over 1,000 for it, so I'm not gonna get it. So it can just sit there.
How many miles is that one?
That one is 387 miles. Fuel is the problem right now.
Yeah,
Fuel
so
is
it's
not-
like a $50 per mile you charge.
No, every mile we charge. Right now, the fuel surcharge is 90 cents a mile.
Yeah. How much are you gonna charge them?
Well, right now, as what I'm bidding is the rate at $3.50 a mile, and then adding the 90 cents on, so it's $4.40 a mile is what I'm bidding these loads at. So $4.40 a mile, and then I tack a little bit extra on for wiggle room. You know, a lot of these that I'm bidding. The reason I'm bidding $3.50 is because they're only partial trailer loads. So it's not they're lightweight.
So what does that matter?
If it was heavier, it would burn more fuel and be more wear and tear on my equipment. And so I would actually be bidding $4.50 a mile, unless I don't and there's all sorts of variables, like is the shipper and receiver on one side or the other, are they crappy? Or do they, have a good track record? This is the tiny little spoon thing. I wish my daughter would have stayed with Mandarin,
Yeah.
but she didn't.
But she learned Mandarin a little bit.
So she, from birth, naturally had a gift for languages. English was not her first language. It was her third. So her first language was Arabic. Her second language was Amharic, which is Ethiopian, because her dad is Arabic and Ethiopian. And her third language was English, because she was around Arabic and Amharic more. She picked it up first. She didn't actually speak English until she was 3. But I told his friends from birth, every time they came into the house, don't speak to my daughter in your crap English. Speak to her in your first language. And his friends did that. So they only communicated her with their primary language. She picked it up. And so then we moved to Belize when she was 3, and she dropped Amharic and Arabic, and she picked up Dutch and Creole. She wouldn't learn Spanish though. For some odd reason, she just would not. And her nannies tried, but she did not pick up. She refused, but she was stubborn. And then we came back when she was 5, and in first grade, her school, they had Chinese classes, and they taught Mandarin. So first and second grade and possibly third grade, she was learning Mandarin. Then she just wandered away and, well, she picked up Amharic again because she went to Ethiopia for 6 weeks. And so she came back speaking Amharic again. And then in high school, for some odd reason, she picked Spanish. I'm like, no, Mandarin would have been the better choice. That's a more global language. Yeah, my thought was if you want to compete on the global economy, well, to know that she picked up Dutch, it is random. But down in Belize, her best friend Estes, her mom was from Holland, and their primary language was Dutch. She spoke to, her friend's mom spoke to her friend in Dutch only, so she spoke to Halima in Dutch only. Right now I feel like she's studying, wasting my money, but...
I mean, she doesn't have a major in...
She's changed it. I think at the moment she's on teaching, but I don't know.
Okay, thanks so much.
Who is Maria?
As my broker.
You're gonna say whether you have some job for tomorrow.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. What's going on? How's the weekend look? I mean, I'm not pushing because if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But figure.
Wait, are you good for the load that I sent you for today?
I am gonna do that, but I'm just trying to see how committed
I don't have anything for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So do you want to come out? You'll do today's load and then
I'll come out
Monday?
Yeah, I'll come out Monday then.
And wait, like, do you need to stay near Georgia? Like, where do you want to do?
No, slingshot me to the really good money loads.
Okay.
I don't care if you hopscotch me out, but or run me straight across to the Midwest or whatever.
Okay, cool. I will
Doesn't matter.
see what I can get you. How was Belize? It looks beautiful.
It was amazing.
Oh, yeah, great. I'm happy you're back, and yeah, I'll let you know what I come across.
I tried to take as many pictures with my Echo water bottle as I could.
That's really cute. Thank you. You're the best.
Figured you'd like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me know how Monday looks.
All right, will do.
All right. Thank you.
So the delivery time, the offload time is like 6 o'clock. Does that mean you can do it anytime before 6 or after 6?
If they don't get me loaded efficiently, then I'll miss that at 6 p.m. But if I do get loaded quickly, which I believe I probably will, and they won't take me before 6 p.m., then I'm just stuck driving in circles in a big truck around Atlanta because there's no parking in Atlanta. inspection for the trailer. This is my personal information and medical certificates. These are just different inspections I've had done by DOT. I just keep them all in here. This is just a list of what I've done on my truck and when.
We have to keep a daily log of what we do, where we go.
24-hour period from here to here. And from the time we go from off duty to on duty, once we go on duty, we have 14-hour block to do 11 hours of driving. So that includes all of that 14 hours includes stopping, fueling, loading, unloading. So if it takes you more time, say it takes you 5 hours in the day to do that, then you don't have as much time to drive. You only have 9 hours to drive as opposed to 11. And so, but you have 14 hours to do as much work as you possibly can, up to 11 hours of driving. So it's 11 or under, depending on how long it takes you to do every other task.
But it can't be more than 14 hours.
Yeah, your total workday can't be more than 14 hours, although it usually is, because you'll get to a point where you're at a shipper, you've unloaded that day, you've driven, gone to pick up, and now you're at a shipper and you're getting loaded and it's taking them longer than it should. It tends to then push your day into the 15, 16 hour mark. And now you're asked to leave the property because they don't want you there after they get you loaded, and they won't allow for you to park. And so you have to leave the property and find parking somewhere else. There's exemptions and rules that shouldn't be in place for that. They're trying to legislate coercion, meaning forcing drivers to drive outside of their legal hours of service. You shouldn't be allowed to force somebody off the property if you've run their clock down.
So did you find it hard the first time you drove a truck? Like,
I did. I went to school, and first day I got in there, I was really overwhelmed and intimidated. You could have asked me to land on the moon instead of backing a straight line in reverse. It was that intimidating. When you get in, you're used to a car and you have your speedometer and like one or two other gauges, and then you get in. I just lost another bid for convoy. I lost the bid, but they didn't tell me that they awarded the bid to anybody, so that the load still hasn't been assigned to anybody, which means it'll be listed, and I will, if it's still listed when we get there, I'm gonna go on and bid higher.
bid higher?
Bid higher. Correct, because they're being greedy and they want to sell it and ship it for cheap so they can keep it all. So they turned down my one bid, so if they want that load hauled, they're gonna have to pay more this time.
Wow. So you have two rear mirrors on each side.
Yeah. The short one is convex so that it gives me that wide angle. And this one is the tall one so I can see if I'm like hitting anything. And it's good for backing.
So I feel like on one hand, it's hard to navigate, like to drive a truck. On the other hand, like no cars want to mess with you, right?
The lines and the law, the rules of general basic driving apply to car drivers, not trucks.
Yeah.
For safety, for, you know, of the equipment, safety of us, and, you know, try and turn and go into the first right lane. My trailer tires would drag across, take out stop sign, fire hydrant, somebody's grass, or, you know, any other thing. So it's a generally understood, you use all the space in front of you to make your maneuvers so that your trailer will follow along behind.
You know, when I like drive by big trucks, I get scared. I'm like, I have to pass it. But now I feel like, well, this feels very safe also. Because
We do
It's a big
constant
truck.
safety training.
But is it relatively safe? I mean, considering how huge the truck is, you know.
I think it's as only as safe as the training of the driver driving.
You know.
Quite a bit of companies, Warner's one of them, these bigger companies, they have a lot of student drivers. Most of their fleet is student drivers. Warner, not so much. Swift, Sierra England, CRST, Prime, JB Hunt, these are all big mega carriers. So you're talking thousands and thousands of trucks, and they have a large population of student drivers. So like at Swift, the average experience of a Swift driver is 3 months.
Window rattles, everything rattles.
That's kind of the AC kind of.
That's the window. So it is kind of like AC.
When was this made?
The truck was manufactured in 1994.
I've never seen like a,
Oh, air window.
yeah, like that, like a switch like that.
You cannot really see in here all of my valves and levels, but all of my valves and controls inside are all run by air. I need the radiator blown out because it's not pulling in the air for the airflow to cool the truck down. So the AC doesn't work very well. This is the joys of an old truck.
What is this thing you've been flipping us all?
This is my engine brake. So it's high, medium, low, on and off. So did you feel that pull back? What that does is that retards the engine, and that slows my truck down naturally instead of me having to apply the foot brake.
Is it similar to like a manual or like a stick car?
Similar in the shifting, except I have double the gears and the shift pattern is reversed. So in a car, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then reverse. For me, it's reverse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I put the selector up, come all the way over 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So when I first got out of here and got into my grandpa's manual transmission car, I had the hardest time. I would get on the freeway and almost want to drop it into reverse because my natural inclination is to push it into the top gear, and that to me is here.
Is this the one?
That's the machine.
Oh, but this is the load for you?
Yes.
Okay.
And they will drive on there super fast, you know.
Oh.
Like they'll slide all the way down the end of the trailer.
And that does some damage, I guess?
It does damage.
Yeah.
I've had those grippers.
Yeah.
They've snagged the wall and ripped my wall open.
Oh. This doesn't look like printing paper. I don't know.
It's
Maybe
like
it is.
sticker paper.
Yeah. I
I've hauled the refrigerator paper before, which sounds weird.
don't think refrigerator paper, what is that?
That is paper that has to be hauled in a refrigerated trailer because it's tacky,
Yeah.
and if it gets too hot or too cold, they use that paper for windshields. So it's the paper that goes in between the glass, which, like, the glass gets formed on either side of it. It's in between the glass of your windshield, so that if
But you don't see the
you
paper,
don't see
right?
it.
Huh.
But when you have a collision or your windshield
Yeah.
breaks, it's what holds your windshield instead of it shattering. It'll shatter, but it sticks to that paper.
Yeah,
on
it's
the
not going to be
inside.
on your face.
Yeah, it's not gonna,
Yeah, I see.
you know. So that's the refrigerated paper, and it has to be held at like one temperature consistently, and it's stored in a refrigerator when it's not, you know.
But this whole area smells like paper though.
It does.
Right?
I don't have the relationship with my daughter that I worked so hard to have. Giving up so much to get out of that situation. Working so hard so that she didn't have to feel like she wanted for anything. Like working so that she didn't have to ask her dad for anything because of what came with it, the ties that came with it. So to make sure that she had everything and didn't need anything from him